I can sit over there. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Oh, good.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome to our Bible study. Today, we have a special presentation done by Pastor Robinson on the 7 steps to marriage. Now, marriage in the Old Hebrew had 2 words. One is nesun, which means to take up or take up responsibility. So the idea of marriage was someone who's prepared for a responsibility. So there was preparation as well as the willingness to take on the responsibility. And that's why we hear in the Old Testament, he takes a wife. He's going to take up the responsibility of a wife. More modern ones use nasa, which means to lift up or you're elevating someone. And we notice that today among women, to be a mother is a very lofty thing. So you're lifted up out of the normal class of women to a lofty one. And fun fact, that's where we get the tradition of the bride being lifted up by the husband and walking out. So anytime you see that, well, that's coming straight out of the Bible. Now, without further ado, Pastor Robinson and the 7 steps to marriage.
Thank you. We often talk about marriage. And in our church group and society, we don't even understand the word. But we want to get married and live happily ever after. That's like something coming out of a fairy tale. It doesn't work that way. But we need to follow steps to understand this process here, because 2 lives becoming one. Our first step is curiosity. We get inquisitive. Or we can also look at what we call love at first sight. First time you see a man sees a woman or a woman sees a man, oh, that's the one for me. She got the right curvatures of the body. She got the right looks that I want. But marriage is more than that. We're always curious. When we are even in classroom setting, a new student comes in and we want to look at the new student and decide, well, this is a new person. First thing you try to find out and identify, which is sometimes difficult, is the sex of the person. Because some men dress like women and some women dress like men. So you are curious, you're all curious of happenings around us. And we want to know something more beyond this first page we are seeing. Is like we open a book and we begin to read, and we have to go 7 chapters. And we begin with step number 1, curiosity. I have an interest in, and I see what I want. But is that really what I want, or I am prepared to deal with? We're always inquisitive of people and things. Next step. So we step from our curiosity to the step of investigation. We want to know who this person is, where this person is from, or the family relations of this individual. So we want to do a systematic inquiry to make sure of our steps. We have seen what we want and we decide, well, that's what we want. But you have to go to the next step of investigating. Now, this investigation should not shut down at step number 2, but follow you through all the other steps. Because there can be disappointments on the way. So you're going to do a close study of this individual. Where is she from? Where is he from? What's the background? Because what we see sometimes is not always what works in the reality of life. Let's look at step number 3. We have looked at 1, curiosity. Number 2, investigation. Now we have to make some point of contact. We're going to find out where we can meet and where we can have a discussion. So you meet. And in order to have contact, you have to have communication. Finding out, asking questions, and contact. And, we always have the term, you hear it from the horse's mouth. So more than imagining, oh, she looks good, she'll be a good wife. You can't go at her, he looks handsome, and he'll be a good husband. I will train him and I will teach him or I will teach her, when we don't even know what we're looking for. So you make contact with this individual to gain information so you know what you're stepping in. The old time people used to say, look before you leap. If you watch Animal Kingdom on the Serengeti, you will see sometimes when the wildebeest are on a run, they don't definitely look where they're going. They just follow the crowd. And all of them end up over the precipice or in the water together because they are just in a rush. They don't even make contact with the environment. And this contact is not for a relationship of love in terms of you're making contact, you go and take out to a dinner and expecting to get a reward after that. No. This is just to know what are your intentions. Does this person have any spiritual beliefs? If you are looking at a husband or wife, one of the key factors, if you are a member of a church or believe in God and you associate, you want to find out the ways of the person. Do you go to church? Do you believe in God? What are your interests, even in music? What type of music do you like? If the person tells you I'm into reggae, or I'm into funk, or I'm into dirty dancing, that's not what you want. So from your contact, you're finding out the information that will make the next step available or successful. So you have contact. You find out all you can about this person. And after contact comes decision. You have to make a decision. Is this what I want or what I don't want? It's just like you go to buy clothes. You pick up clothes and you will look at fashions or several items, and you decide the ones you want. Necessarily ones that will fit into your mode of conduct or your purpose of dress to make sure. Most of us sometimes often make the wrong decisions on matters we should not have. We always, I want to be sure, I want to be right. So this is like a scary moment. Am I making the right decision? Is that what I want in my life? More than saying, well, she's gorgeous in the stage of a male admiring a female. She's what I want. She's all that I want. Just looking on the physical outlay without observing or knowing anything about the spiritual or inward beauty. The beauty is inward, not outward. If you may be attracted, yes, because the lust of the flesh and the pride of your life, but you don't even stop to pray. And prayer is a necessary weapon on decisions. Because I'm making a decision for life or for death. Is this marriage going to work out? Is this the right choice? And many of us don't even teach our children what to look for. We just say, go find a wife. And we say, oh, my son or my daughter is getting married and will live happily ever after. That's a myth. That's like a misconception in your judgment. You have to go know what you're looking for and the qualities you want. You have found this person, and this person is a child of the King, heavenward bound, not one going to church and the next one going to the market. I've seen that. And then there's always confusion. If you have no settlement in your mind about the worshiping of God and the beliefs in Christianity, then what are you looking for out there? Is this person a member of the family of God, or is this person astray? You don't want that. You want to make solid decisions to make sure. So now, let's reason that you make a decision to take this person. Then there comes another issue. You have been through curiosity, come up, you have had your investigation, you have had your contact, you have made your decision. Let's argue, for example, that's what I want. This is the one I am going to make life with or live the rest of my life with, because overnight decisions won't work. Living with somebody for the rest of your life is not like 2 hours. Some people you can live with them for 5 minutes. And when you begin to find out about them as you continue to investigate, that's not your cup of tea. I think that's the term some people use. That's not my cup of tea. So you're not interested. But let's say, for example, you have found the love of your life for which you have been searching, and this individual happens to fall in to that groove or the picture of your life, wanting to live with. You are what I want, baby. You are my dream. You are my everything. I can't ever sleep without seeing you in my dreams, the way we go about our affairs and talk about, I love you always, and you'll be mine forever. Yes, you come to that. You come up to it's a stage of commitment. You are now sure that this is what you want in your life for the rest of your life, not just for a moment of pleasure, but a commitment to somebody I want to spend my life with. You have to be committed in whatever you do, else you are just wasting time. And if you can commit yourself to that person, then you move to the next step. Contract. We are now committed. I'm looking for a marriage contract because I'm not going to shack up with you. I need a legal contract, binding one. When you look in the Bible, you find that Joseph had a contract with Mary. You know the story how she got a child outside of the contract. And there were um, suspicions on that contract being broken. But this is where you sign away your life. You have a contract going. When you sign that contract, that's serious business. You can't be running up and down, looking here and there, trying to find somebody. This is yours. I used to say to people who are getting married, and I may be a part of the wedding as master of ceremony, I would say, listen, your free paper burns today. It's all over. The choice you make today, that's it. You can't make no other choices, and you shouldn't make other choices because you have chosen this one as yours. I remember I went to a wedding several years ago in the city of Toronto, and I saw this beautiful bride walking down the aisles by herself. And I make a little trouble sometimes, or much, wherever I go. So I walked up to this nice bride, well decked out, and I said to her, as I was walking down the aisles with her, maybe people believe I was a giveaway father, for she didn't have one. And I said, you don't have to say I do, because I am here. She looked at me and she kept on walking, but I had a good laughter out of it. But at least I'm giving her a last minute escape. You don't have to say I do, because I am here. I'm trying to distract her. When I couldn't take a contract then because I was already married, had my wife and family, so I couldn't take the contract, but just giving her an opportunity to think seriously of what she's getting into. Then after we have this legal contract and everything signed up, you don't marry to somebody without, a written pacto, we call it from another language. Pacto is an agreement. The agreement between two people or two parties outlining the findings of your investigation, as if you are a detective looking for a wife or a husband. And you have your legal contract now. It's almost over. Then after we have this contract, what's our next step? Our next step is marriage. We have walked through the valleys of curiosity. We come up to investigation. We move up to making contact, then making decision, then making commitment. So we are on track, and we're going to stay on track. And we make this contract. Now we go into marriage. Legal and binding, moral and social union. God instituted this marriage business. It's not a man institution, it's a God-given institution. And the two shall become one. Not that, there are two magnets you slap together and one attracts the other and that's it. No. Two become one. One in purpose. You have children coming out of this relationship after a while, after the next event that we shall look at. So you are here, you are married, you now have the right. If you notice in the marriage ceremony, do you take this woman or man to be your lawful wife or wedded husband? That's a future question. Or will you take? And from the moment you say, I do, that future becomes instant, present. It's no more a future. You are now obligated to that person. So your days of saying yes to somebody else, that's gone with the wind. Your chapter closes. This is yours forever partner. Sometimes people say, oh, we love each other until we don't agree anymore, then we get into divorce. But when God ordains this marriage, He didn't put the divorce clause in there because He expects us to stay together until death do us part. There is a bird, and they will stay together even if one dies. The next one doesn't look a partner. I think they are penguins, or it's a bird that will stick together. And they are more faithful than human beings, yet they are not of that sensible capability as human beings. But they will be faithful. And you'll find people put them on their wedding tablecloths, hoping that their relationship will last. But this marriage business is a serious process of working together towards a common goal. Not, I am ruling over you, I am the man, I am the boss, submit. That's not how that goes. You submit as unto the Lord. And I know the Lord will not abuse you. So you don't find yourself end up in an abusive relationship where we want to call that a maniac type of love, has to see your telephone, wants to know everybody you have spoken to, want to know all about you, more than necessary, till that person becomes a plague or enters into a mental illness of being too inquisitive. I was never the type to look at my wife's phone or want to. No. I married her and I had trust, and that's what I went by. So I'm talking to you from experience. Now, this formal ceremony where you get married and you are told you could kiss the bride. That's your time to start intimate affection. You can kiss the bride right there, and then let's flick to the next event. Sexual relationship. Now you need that to consummate the marriage. Completing the fulfillment. You're at this stage. Now, I would encourage that this does not be step number one. Because many people run into this. They go to the bars and clubs trying to pick up somebody just for a night of lucid loving or satisfying the passion of eros, trying to find somebody for a one-night stand, they call it. I don't know what they mean by that. I never had that. You now consummate the marriage. So you have walked through the steps to get to human sexuality, which is an important part, that you share yourself with the other in a very intimate sexual relationship where the two becomes one, twined together. And from this sort of relationship, you get your flock of children, and you still have to maintain that love relationship and set the example for them to see that love exists, not just in talk, but in action, because children can quickly pick up more than you think they can pick up. And we think sometimes they're sleeping, but their eyes are wide open. And they are listening and picking up. They are learning from adults, learning from us how to go about relationship. So we can't be brutal or criminals. We have to use the love of God to guide our pathway. Where I love you and you love me, I don't have to watch you. You don't have to watch me, for we have complete trust. And you don't think that because your husband or wife talks to somebody else who is of opposite sex, they're having a relationship, and you can't take that. You'll get mad pretty soon. The asylum will have a bed for you or a room for you, because you have now imposed all the evils of your mind on your partner. And how do you expect to live happily ever after according to your plans? That's disrupted. Let me hope that we all have enjoyed this little talk and we can go forth following the steps, that we don't walk into marriage blindly just for physical needs, sexual needs, let's say it plain. But we step into it the right way. In our churches, we don't have these type of discourse, or you just go and bring home anybody you feel like on the street, and people who may have treated you nicely at first just to catch your attention and to beguile you just like the devil. And you find out, you have end up in a situation choosing between Judas and the devil. Whichever pick you take, whether you choose the devil or you choose Judas. But this is a very serious involvement, very serious step in life, and we all need guidance. And that's why I think Pastor Hayes doesn't want to marry people, or doesn't marry people unless he has counseled them. Because you go and get married, seek a marriage counselor, seek some help beyond your vision, because sometimes we are so focused in our own lifestyle and what we want, and we have it cut out in our heads, and we look forward to it, and we're trying to make a bread for which we don't have the flour and ingredients, and we end up the losers. If you have any questions, this is now question time. If you have any questions, if you don't have any, we hope you have enjoyed this needed lecture. Look at it, look over it, and even if you are married, look and see where you went wrong, if things didn't work out. And if you would do it again, how would you do it differently? And may God bless you as those who want to continue to look for partners, those who want to use it as a lesson of revision. We call it remedial lesson. And as long as we walk with God and He's our guide and stay, He instituted this marriage thing, so we are not wrong. But let's walk in the steps that He has set forth for us, that in the end, it will be a joyous and overwhelming adventure. Thank you for listening.
Amen. Amen. Just like to thank everyone here and everyone online for this wonderful study on marriage as opposed to unequally yoked, which happens to be people who have not committed themselves to God prior to getting into a contract. This is a very important step for us to understand, and we hope it is beneficial for all who seek a marriage. So we'll just close at this time. Father Yahweh, we come before thee. We thank you for the food that thou hast fed us from thy manservant. We ask that it fills the need and that many may find wisdom in this guide from your word, name of your Son, Yeshua the Christ. Amen. Maybe you're all considered dismissed. Thank you.